Hello everybody. Today is the last day. The last day to do firewood processing before I go back to the boat. For me, this is a sad day because I know it's the last day I can do firewood for 3 weeks. So I've got a few logs put up on the machine. Before I get started today, I need to sharpen the saw blade. So I'm going to take that off and then sharpen it on the bench grinder. Then I'll be ready to start cutting wood. All I'm doing is lightly skimming these teeth. Some of the logs that I've been working with have had some stones and things embedded, you know, little tiny pebbles, just enough to ding up the blade. So I'm not trying to take much material off at all, just lightly skimming each tooth. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the rakers with my progressive raker gauge. So what I have here is my Westcoast saws 404 pitch progressive raker gauge. You probably can't see it, but I've put a mark right here. These two notches here are for the 50 thousandths raker depth, which is what this blade requires. So I'm just going to real quick spot check a few of these and make sure they're okay. So all I'm doing is I'm laying the, let's see, get to cut the glare here. Is that any better? Nope, it's no better at all. So I put the raker in the notch, depending on which tooth I'm doing. So this is the left-hand tooth. I'm using the left-hand notch. The forward part of the gauge rests on this rivet. So we just lay that right there. And then we can feel across. And if you can feel anything, then it's high. Then you have to take a little bit off. It's a little high. I'm not going to adjust them this time. I'm going to wait until I do another sharpening. So what this progressive gauge does is you're measuring each individual tooth and raker rather than spanning two teeth. So this is the old style, which it works, and it's not great, but it works. But essentially what happens here is you're spanning multiple teeth. So you're not getting a true reading. So if I do this, I can just barely feel that sticking up. If this tooth is short, and say the next tooth is a little bit longer, your rakers will be out of adjustment. And what happens is when you are cutting, the tooth will actually tilt like this. So when the tooth contacts the wood, it tilts ever so slightly until it touches the raker. And that's where you get your depth setting from. That little bit of a tilt. Anyway, that's enough of that. Just wanted to show you the progressive gauge. Westcoast Saws sells these. They're inexpensive and worth every penny. If you want to get accurate measurements, and you will get, if you're adjusting each and every raker, you will get more efficiency out of your chain, you'll get more life out of your chain. You can literally grind these teeth all the way back until there's almost nothing left and still have the chain function. All right, now we're going to put this back on the bar and get it back on the machine. I apologize for the really bad camera angles, so it's hard for me to get any kind of a decent image. So right now I'm just cleaning off the mounting surfaces. Get some of the crud out of here. And then I'll wipe it off, just chipping it out of here with the screwdriver real quick. So the main thing is to wipe off this surface here. Because you don't want to pinch any dirt in between the bar and the mount. And the same with the other side here. I'm not showing you this because I'm trying to get it done. I'll get as much of that dirt off of there as I can. And then I'll wipe the sprocket off real quick. It's not too bad. Sprocket doesn't get much buildup because it spins around so fast it flings everything off. I made sure that I cleaned the oil hole, which is very, very important. Oops. Right there. Put that there. Okay. And now we'll put the motor back on. You in there. There. Just so that I can get the chain on to the sprocket.
Okay, now the chain is on the sprocket. Loosen that a little bit.
Sometimes getting the adjuster stud back in the hole in the bar can be a little tricky, because you can't see what you're doing. There we are. You can't see what you're doing in between, but it goes on fairly easy. Okay, now we'll start taking up the slack on the chain. All right, so now it's reasonably tight. I'm gonna lift the bar up like that, and I'm gonna finish taking up the tension. A little tighter. Okay, that's good. And now we'll tighten the nuts. And there we go. Saw sharp, back on the machine. Sadly, today did not go as planned. I really wanted to get some firewood split, but a bunch of other things came up that I had to get done before I go back to the boat. So I'm afraid the only thing I'm going to get done is a little bit of grading here. I have another project I have to work on, and these are things that I should have done it sooner, but there's just so many things to do around here that it's hard to keep up with everything. So that's it for today. We didn't accomplish any wood splitting, but that's all right. Plenty of time when I get home in 3 weeks. So everybody have a great day. Thanks for watching. And oh yes, and we will hopefully be back with a very short video of what happens with the bear. So stay tuned for the bear shock. The bear shock? The barely shocking experience? I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
Very shocking experience.
Very shocking experience. Okay. All right, everybody have a great day. We'll see you later.